Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's Ajoni Anime here, and today we're gonna review Brand New Animal, or BNA as it's usually called. So if you're interested in that, stay tuned and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Brand New Animal is an original anime. It's produced by Studio Trigger in collaboration with Netflix. So it's a Netflix original anime, and it was released in spring. It's a spring 2020 anime, and it was released in the first 6 episodes were released in March, and the other 6 were released weekly. So it's 12 episodes, and the director is Yo Yoshinari, and he has worked on Neon Genesis Evangelion, Kill la Kill, and because I looked up his work, and something out and Little Witch Academia. Yeah, and a set designer and animator, like key animator, key designer in those series and other stuff. You can Google him. And I think this is the first, from what I could find, this is the first show he's directed. So yeah, that's the technical stuff. That's, the background. In the universe of Brand New Animal, we have humans, and then we have beastmen. And the humans don't like the beastmen don't like the humans, so they live separate lives. The beastmen live in Anima City, which is self-governing. The story of Brand New Animal follows Michiru because she got turned into a beastman, and she wants to get turned back to a human, so she goes to Anima City to see if she can get it fixed there, and the whole story unfolds. It's a regular shonen. MC has a dream, she goes for it, and all of that. She ran away from home to go to Anima City so she could solve her problem, because she didn't want to be a beastman anymore. And yeah, when she gets to Anima City, she realized that beastmen are way more complicated. My laptop just shut off. My laptop just shut down. I hope it's not done for, because if it is, like, school just started yesterday, and I don't have any other devices. So anyways, let's just hope that it's overheating and it needs to cool down. So let's just continue with our review. Before we get any further into the video, I just want to include that there will be spoilers. If you want to watch my review and you don't want spoilers, go watch Brand New Animal and come back. Or if you don't mind spoilers, spoilers don't bother you, because spoilers do not bother me. Let's move on. I don't like Brand New Animal, and I don't like it and I don't hate it. It's not good, but it's not bad. It's just okay. It's just like a 5. Yeah, it's just like a 5 out of 10. It's not good, it's not bad, it's okay. You can watch it if you want. So what I liked about Brand New Animal: the art style, the character design. Once again, we had anthropomorphized animals, and they were not creepy. They were not furry. They were not creepy. It wasn't a weird furry fantasy. Even though, I mean, you can find the fan art. If you just look it up, you're gonna find it. The animation itself and the art style itself in the anime isn't like that. It's nice to look at. Once again, they did a really good job of what animals would look like if they were humans. Also, the beastmen are like shifters. They shift between their human form and their beast form. So they're not beastmen 24/7 like in Beastars, where they're just like, that's their character. Because there were no humans in the Beastar world. But in the Brand New Animal world, they're human, different from beastmen. And the beastmen are what I would call shifters. Like, if you're like me and you spent your whole teenage years reading werewolf romance, you'd consider them shifters. The coloring on the show is also really pretty. It's nice to look at. We've been getting some nice things to look at. It's also not your traditional 2D anime. I didn't look into the animation. I didn't look into like how they did it. They didn't do a lot of shifting scenes, because one thing you notice is that you've never seen Shiro shift, except for when he goes into his like wolf god form. Probably because they used up all the budget on Michiru shifting like 1,000 times into 1,000 different animals. This isn't like my Beastars or my Promised Neverland reviews, and if you haven't watched those, go watch them. It's more like, or even my Japan 6 review that I just released last week, go watch it. I didn't pick any scenes or a particular theme that I wanted to explore. I just wanted to talk about it because, like I said, I didn't like it that much, so I didn't really want to like go that in depth about it. One clear theme that Brand New Animal has, it's prejudice, and I know that you might expect me to come on here because I'm black. You might expect me to come on here and say, oh, this is just like racism, and here's my take on that and why I'm not doing that. It's like, we don't need to explain racism through animals. We don't need to say, oh, imagine if the animals in Brand New Animal were black. Like, why do we need to do that? Like, there's not a single person on this earth that doesn't know racism is bad. And if they don't, they're lying, they're racist. So there's no need for me to say, oh, this parallels the real world because you know how they treat black people and all of that, because like you don't need me to come and tell you. And I frankly do not want to be the one to come on the internet and talk about that stuff. There are lots of people that already do it, and I just don't want to talk about it. I don't think it's fair to me as a black person to see literal cartoon characters and animals and be like, oh, you know, if the person was, this is what racism is like, just imagine if they were black. Like, I don't need to tell you to imagine if they were black, because you already know black people are treated unfairly worldwide, and people of color overall. So like, I'm not gonna do that. One thing I can say that I think it's written for definitely a younger audience. I definitely think that it isn't for me because maybe I'm a bit too old. Maybe I didn't enjoy it as much because I'm a bit older. I think it's definitely for a younger audience. It has that vibe, a younger audience vibe. So there is that. I can say that. But you know, there's some kids cartoons that you can watch. There are lots of kids cartoons that you can watch as an adult and enjoy. And I'm not saying you can't enjoy Brand New Animal. I'm just saying I didn't enjoy it. Especially my second time around. I was so heated. But it ready for everybody. Like, I'm just like, oh my god, you guys are so annoying. Michiru, the main character, she's annoying. She's a really annoying character. She has her idea of what's good and what's bad and what's right and what's wrong, and she believes that everybody needs to live by her compass. And I'm just like, no, my girl, hold on. Everybody don't need to live like that. So she keeps imposing her sense of justice on everyone throughout the show, and it's so annoying because half of the time they're not even doing anything wrong. Their actions are justified, and they're doing stuff they truly believe in. But because she don't agree with it, she's like, you can't do this. Don't you know that? And it's just so frustrating because half the time, most of the conflict that arises wouldn't even happen if she did just keep her mouth shut, or if she did just leave people alone and stop trying to inflict her sense of justice and morality on other people. Like, make people live now, like, as they're not hurting anyone. Well, yeah. Genuinely, for the most part, they weren't hurting anyone, and she just made me so mad. And the second time around, it was even worse because she was wrong the whole time. She was wrong, and I'm just like, oh my god, Michiru, like, my girl, stop. Should I never stop? So I'm just like, oh my goodness. Another thing, the characters didn't have much depth. I think that's what made her so annoying, is that the characters didn't have much depth. They were, what you see was what you get, and that's one reason why I think it's for a younger audience, because the characters don't have much complexities or they're not very dynamic. And I like my characters to be dynamic with complexities. Yes, she had her struggle, because obviously you have to give them a struggle. Like, how else you going to write a show or write a book or write a manga or something if your main character don't have a struggle or something they're working for? So she had her struggle and she had something she was working for, and that's it. She just wanted to cure her Beastman disease. Her friend Azuna, they got the Beastman disease because they met in an accident and they got tainted Beastman blood, and now they can shift. Because of that medical malpractice, they can now shift into basically any animal they want. Michiru is a tanuki and her friend Azuna is a fox. And hold up, this was a really nice touch for me. In Japanese folklore, we have yokais. Yokais are like, they're ghosts, or what we in Jamaica would call dopi. There are many stories. There are many folklore / yokai ghost stories of the tanuki and the fox. And in all these iterations of these stories, the tanuki and the fox are known to be shapeshifters. They can shift into any form they want. Michiru and Nazuna are the only tanuki and fox you see in the show. And guess what's their superpower, or this power that they have, is that they're the only ones that can shift into any other animal they want. And their characteristics do borrow heavily from the traditional stories of a tanuki being helpful and playful and cheerful and innocent, and the fox being sly and cunning, because here's Nazuna, you know, she's pretending to be something she's not for a lot of people, for the attention, and that's something that traditionally fox would like, or kitsune they call it in Japanese. Also, park the bus. Hold on, I want to watch God of High School episode 10. Like, did you guys watch God of High School episode 10? Because Ilipio is like, I'm just like, excuse me? Oh my god, did you? I mean, if you didn't watch it, you know, I won't spoil it for you, because me not stay bad, right? Me don't stay too bad. But like, did you guys watch, like, speaking of kitsune, right? Speaking of fox, like, so yeah, that was a nice little touch. You know, a lot of anime borrows from Japanese folklore, so that was nice, and it was pretty accurate. The characteristics were accurate of the folklore and of the stories I read when I was researching it. What I was saying before I got off on that tangent was that the characters are one-dimensional. There isn't much to them. It's very okay. So for Shiro, his beef is, I don't like humans, I don't trust humans, and he's well within his rights, because he's 1,000 years old. He's lived to see a lot of things, and in none of these stories that he's seen, in none of these things that he's seen, have the humans ever been like trying to help them or helpful or anything like that. That's about his entire personality. He's very closed off, very stoic, very, you know, I don't trust anyone, I'm a lone wolf. He's probably a lone wolf because of, you know, he's closing himself off so he doesn't feel pain when he loses anyone. I mean, he's lived for 1,000 years. Of course, he's outlived every single one of his friends, and he's sad and he doesn't want to make any more friends because he knows they're gonna die too. And you know, that's something old people suffer with. They suffer with survival's guilt when, you know, all of their friends start to die and then their children leave them. And yeah, so befriend an old person today. If you ever get the chance to, you should volunteer at the old person home. We have this character called Alan Sylvester, and he's the owner of a pharmaceutical company. And Shira doesn't trust him, but everyone is just like, he has all the money, he has the resources, let's trust him. And I'm just like, hold up, park the bus. Like, he's such a smooth talker, and he has all the solutions, and he has all the money. And I'm just like, no one thinks that this guy's evil. Like, but I think it's kind of set clear as they said, this guy's evil. But the plot twist at the end is if not kind of surprising, it's very surprising. But he's also never said he was a human. That's one thing for sure. I've watched it, and I've watched it twice, and Alan has never said he was a human, and he's never called himself a human ever. The whole 12 episodes. So like, if you were paying attention, like if you were picking that up, you would have probably guessed it. I didn't guess it though. I wasn't picking it up. I was blinded by my hatred for Alan. Right? Because someone that holds so much wealth is already inherently evil. Okay? People that hold a ridiculous amount of wealth are already evil. Let me say that again. People that are obnoxiously rich and hold an obscene amount of wealth, so much that they can control the interests of an entire city, are inherently evil. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. But yeah, he was a rich guy. Family name. He turned out to be the villain, and I didn't expect it. I really didn't. But like I said, if you're on your P's and Q's, if you're picking it up, if you're dotting all your I's and crossing all your T's, you would have realized he never called himself a human. So when he transformed into a beastman, and not only a beastman, he transformed into a 3-headed god, a three-headed wolf god, you're just like, you would have probably guessed it. You really, like, you don't see it coming at all. And even though, like, I'm telling you this, if you go watch it, you probably still won't see it coming. Alan's beef is that the Beastmen aren't purebred. And how it was before, that the Beastmen all lived in their own little, you know, animals live with their own species. So the Beastmen lived among themselves, like among their own species, all around the world. But then humans had to come and ruin everything. Because that's it. Due to sheer population size, the humans pushed the Beastmen all into one place. And because they are stressed out, because they don't have their own territory and they're not with their own species that much, they kind of go into a rage, they go berserk. And you know, that's what happened 1,000 years ago, and it started to happen in Anima City because the city became overcrowded. And Alan already knew about that. He wanted to turn all of the Beastmen human because they were not pure like him. And I'm like, sir, if your bloodline is more than 1,000 years old and you consider yourself pure, and you guys can say with certainty that your 1,000-year-old bloodline is pure, I don't think you should take that much pride in it. I don't think you should take that much pride in the fact that your 1,000-year-old bloodline is pure. In order for it to retain its purity, something had to happen. And I hope you guys get what I'm saying. I don't want to say it because I don't think I can say it, but I hope you guys get what I'm saying. Like, that's not something you should boast about. Like, cousin and cousin boil good soup in your family. What I'm wondering is, like, if there's gonna be a season 2, they started a manga adaptation after they released it. So there's a manga adaptation out. I think it has like 2 or 3 chapters. I'm not sure. But if there's a season 2, right? What is Alan gonna do? Like, he has to come back. He's immortal. He can't die. He's somewhere licking his wounds, but like, I'm not gonna come back. And I wouldn't like to think that he got a redemption arc, or not just yet. If there's a season 2, I'd like Alan to terrorize him for another like season, or just disappear for all of season 2 and come back in season 3 and terrorize them, and then like season 4 can get him redemption arc if, you know, it lasts a lot. Very quick. Not a quick watch. I mean, not a quick watch for me. I mean, it's 12 episodes. You know, 12 episodes is a quick watch. It's like, you need one day. I would like to see the characters with more complexity, with more flavor, more than just what you see on the surface. The mayor started to invite humans into Anima City so that they could learn from the humans, and the humans could learn from the Beastmen to see that, you know, they're not that much different and they're alike. And here we go again. I don't think you need to prove your worth to anyone through any means. Like, just because you're on this earth means you are worthy. Okay, you don't need to do anything extra to prove your worth to anyone. You don't need to tone yourself down. You don't need to try to appeal to their humanity, especially like as a black person in this very anti-black racist world. You don't need to be a doctor, a lawyer, whatever. You deserve to be on this earth just as much as everyone else, and like, nobody shouldn't treat you otherwise. No one should be treating you like you're less than. So I think that's one thing with the Beastmen, is that you shouldn't need, like, the ending is all like, oh yeah, they're gonna learn from us and we're gonna learn from each other and kumbaya, but like, they shouldn't need to do that. That's why I know it's just a show, and I know it's just a show and I don't need to take it so seriously, but they shouldn't need to invite humans into their city so the humans can see that they're not that different, or so that the humans can see that, oh, there's no need for us to persecute them because, you know, they're worthy and they're deserving of life just like we are. Like, you don't need that. The prejudice never need to exist. Like, this kind of stuff upsets me, and this is why I didn't want to talk about the prejudice or racism or anything, because I'm just gonna shout at the camera. I'm just gonna shout at the camera and into the microphone for like an hour. It felt short with the storyline. It's like they were trying to attack prejudice and racism, but they fell short. They did a good job of handling friendship and standing up for what you believe in and going after what you want. They did a good job of that. But that brings us to the end of the video. Thank you for watching. If you like this kind of content, hit the like button so I know that you like it. Subscribe for when I do more uploads like this. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss my uploads. Watch my previous uploads. Last week I gave a first impression of Shonen Jump's new series, Phantom Seer, and I reviewed Japan Sinks 2020, so go watch those if you haven't already. I'll link them in the card, and the description box below, and they're gonna be on the screen. So yeah, see you in my next video. Bye.